Why Philippines rejected F-16 and Rafale and chose Swedish Gripen. The Philippines, a nation of more than 7,000 islands, strategically positioned in the heart of Southeast Asia. Surrounded by contested waters in the South China Sea, the country has long faced challenges to its sovereignty and national security. For decades, the Philippine Air Force has operated aging fighters like the F-5 Freedom Fighter, before acquiring a handful of F-50 Golden Eagles from South Korea. But as regional tensions grew, it became clear, the Philippines needed a true multirole fighter jet to defend its skies. For years, the search narrowed to three modern contenders: America's legendary F-16 Fighting Falcon, France's Dassault Rafale, and Sweden's Saab JAS 39 Gripen. But when the dust settled, Manila made its choice, rejecting the F-16 and Rafale, and moving toward the Gripen. Why? To understand this decision, we must look at the unique needs, constraints, and realities of the Philippines. Chapter 1, the F-16, powerful but costly. The F-16 Fighting Falcon has long been a favorite of the U.S. Air Force and dozens of allied nations. Proven in combat, loaded with modern avionics, and backed by Washington's political influence, the F-16 was an obvious contender. But the reality for Manila was sobering. The price tag of the latest F-16 Block 70-72 variants was enormous, nearly $120 million per aircraft, including weapons and support. On top of that, the operational cost per flight hour was around $25,000 to $30,000. For a developing nation like the Philippines, such figures meant enormous strain on its defense budget. Moreover, the F-16's reliance on U.S. political approval raised concerns. The Philippines, seeking a degree of independence in its foreign policy, feared restrictions on weapon systems or spare parts if relations with Washington cooled. Chapter 2, the Rafale, advanced but impractical. France's Dassault Rafale presented another attractive option. Known for its agility, twin engines, and advanced radar systems, the Rafale has proven itself with the French Air Force and Navy, as well as in countries like India, Qatar, and Egypt. But again, cost became the decisive barrier. Each Rafale carried an even higher price tag, up to $150 million per unit, with an operational cost of nearly $20,000 per flight hour. For Manila, the Rafale was simply too luxurious, an aircraft more suited for major powers than a resource-conscious archipelagic state. Additionally, maintenance complexity and logistics posed challenges. With no existing ecosystem in Southeast Asia, sustaining the Rafale fleet would have required building costly infrastructure from scratch. Chapter 3, Enter the Gripen, the pragmatic choice. This is where the Saab JAS 39 Gripen stood apart. Developed by Sweden, the Gripen was designed with smaller nations in mind, countries that required advanced capabilities without the crushing costs of American or French fighters. The Gripen E/F variant offered state-of-the-art AESA radar, electronic warfare suites, beyond visual range missiles, and the ability to integrate with both Western and non-Western weapons. Yet, its operational cost per flight hour was estimated at just $7,000 to $8,000, nearly one-third that of the F-16. For the Philippines, the Gripen represented the perfect balance: modern capability, affordable cost, and easier maintenance. Saab also offered attractive financing packages, technology transfer, and long-term support. Chapter 4, Strategic Considerations. Beyond cost and performance, the geopolitical dimension mattered too. Choosing the F-16 might have deepened dependence on the United States, while selecting the Rafale could have created new but untested ties with France. Saab, on the other hand, positioned itself as a neutral partner. Sweden had no colonial baggage in Asia, no territorial ambitions, and a track record of supporting smaller air forces around the world. The Gripen also fit perfectly with the Philippines' geography. With short runways across scattered islands, the aircraft's ability to operate from austere bases was a game-changer. It could take off and land on shorter strips, and its maintenance crews required far fewer resources than those for an F-16 or Rafale. Chapter 5, The Future of Philippine Air Power. By rejecting the F-16 and Rafale, and moving toward the Gripen, the Philippines sent a clear signal: it was choosing a fighter that aligned with its defense budget, strategic autonomy, and geographic needs. The Gripen will not make the Philippines a dominant air power overnight. But it will give Manila a credible deterrent in the South China Sea, a reliable tool for sovereignty patrols, and a foundation to modernize its air force. More importantly, it represents a shift in mindset, from prestige-driven purchases to pragmatic defense choices. As the first Gripens take to the Philippine skies, they will symbolize more than just new jets. They will embody a nation's determination to safeguard its sovereignty, its people, and its future, affordably, practically, and decisively. Studio microphone closing narration. In the contest between power and practicality, the Philippines chose wisely. The F-16 may be iconic, the Rafale may be elite, but for Manila, the Gripen was the fighter that truly made sense. This is not just the story of a jet fighter. It is the story of a nation learning to defend itself on its own terms.